I already played 2 hours of basketball, shaved, been to court in Seminole County.
How's the ankle?
It was pretty good today.
How well done.
And my day hasn't even begun. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. My name is Justin Clark. Thank you for spending your evenings here with me on our favorite sports radio station. You can also watch the TV shows this weekend and every weekend, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Over on CBS, it is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then Sunday at 10 a.m. on TV 27, it is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television. That's over on TV 27. Also, if you'd like to interact with us, all you have to do is go to @Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can watch the radio show there every day, make comments, ask us questions via social media @Behind the Law Radio. To my right, on the blue microphone with the red, what is that, a bandana? What is it?
It's a hair wrap.
A hair with the red hair wrap and a blue microphone. It is the beautiful Brianna. Hello, Brianna.
Hello, Justin.
So let me see this hair wrap. Let me see this hair wrap. Go to Behind the Law Radio right now
Okay.
too if you want to see the hair wrap. Like, what is that? Is this something that it just looks cool, or does it have some functionality as well?
Yeah, it keeps all my hair up.
Oh,
You know.
Gotcha. We got a very special show for you today. If you are looking at maybe doing a refinance on your house, your interest rates are a little bit too high, or even better yet, if you're still renting and you're renting in this real estate market that is just absolutely great for landlords, but not so great for renters, and you're looking to buy a house and you want to figure out what the mortgage rates are now, can you qualify? This next hour is going to be all about you. We'll interview Dallas Lehman. He is with You Have Mortgage. Dallas, welcome to the show, first of all. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Justin. Great to see you again.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so we're going to talk a lot of things about mortgage in a minute, but first, without further ado, I've been looking forward to this since you emailed me about it 2 days ago. So Brianna sent me an email, guys, and it said, hey, do you mind if I use the news segment, Justin, to talk about Sudan? And then I keep referring to it as the Sudan,
Say
and
that
I don't
in
know
your
why
head.
I say that.
I don't either.
Wait,
Listeners,
does
if you
anyone-
know, please.
I don't know why I say the Sudan. It just seems like a region, but it's just a country, right?
Rolls off your tongue.
But I mean, what if I say the United States of America?
then that would be accurate
So why can't I say the Sudan?
because there's only one.
Whatever.
It's the one. Sudan.
All right. Brianna, what's going on in the news?
Yeah, so I really just wanted to inform our listeners about just the absolute atrocities that's going on over in Sudan. So perhaps many people have heard about what's going on over there with the Sudanese government, the mass killings, pro-democracy protesters, but I really wanted to take today to not only inform, but to share some ways about how they can make an impact today. So these are the facts. So first of all, in order to truly understand what's going on in Sudan today, we have to go back about 30 years, back to 1989, when Omar al-Bashir, a dictator, rose to power in Sudan. In his 30 years of rule, he's been known to viciously massacre his enemies, burning their lands. Hundreds of thousands have died from famine because of him burning the lands and have been left in the wake of his warpath. So he sought to rule over Sudan using harsh military tactics, including murder, starvation, and genocide, because of the role that he played in Darfur. Genocide that the death count is at least 300,000 and counting, and is still going on. So there are multiple unsuccessful attempts to overthrow him. So now that we know a little bit about Omar al-Bashir, let's jump to this past December 2018. Now, this is kind of when it went down because the price of bread rose literally triple overnight, which is, it sparked protest, and these protests quickly turned into anti-government rallies. And what did they want? They wanted Omar al-Bashir to resign. They wanted change. They wanted democracy to replace their current dictator. So on April this year, 2019, the protesters had their way, and Omar al-Bashir was overthrown. Now, military leaders moved in with the initial claims to let the Sudanese civilians rule, offering some sort of exchange between civilian rule and military rule over the course of some time, while they just kind of sought to figure things out. Negotiations fell apart as the civilians and militaries were not able to see eye to eye. The government actually went back on their word. They ended up tightening their hold on the supposedly transitional government, and they suspended the Constitution. The civilians, in response, organized a strike. At the beginning of this month, June 3rd, this is kind of what everyone's talking about now, is June 3rd, the nonviolent protest was met with a violent military response. The military pushback, killing at least 500 people, injuring 700 more. There's over 80 confirmed sexual assault victims. Thousands of people are unaccounted for. Thousands of people have been taken off to jail. Civilians have reported that dozens of bodies have been dumped into the Nile River. And on top of all this, the military issued a blackout on Sudan. They initiated a network shutdown in hopes of preventing the Sudanese people from being able to connect with each other online, to gather, and to prevent the revolution from spreading. So this, honestly, it's purely egregious. So some things that have been done already is celebrities have given their voices to this cause through multiple awareness campaigns. The African Union has suspended Sudan until the military stops their violent acts. The UN sent people in. It was actually so violent that the UN actually pulled their staff this week from Sudan because of how violent it is over there. And we're here today, listeners, and our live stream viewers, to let you know that something has to be done here. We honestly cannot continue to sit idly by while people are literally being massacred in the streets of Sudan. Both women and men are being sexually assaulted, and people are going missing all the time, like just absolutely unaccounted for. So we need to stand up and put the pressure right where it belongs, and that's on our global leaders. Darfur, Rwanda, the Armenian genocide, we cannot let Sudan fall amongst with them as well. So here's some things that we can do. Hopefully by now you're asking yourselves, what can I do to help? What can I do to end these atrocities? And I'm glad you asked, Justin. So we're going to list 3 things that you can do today that's going to make an impact on Sudan. 1, take it to social media. The Sudanese citizens have had their voices taken away. They have had their human rights violated, but we have a voice. We can still do something about it. So you might have noticed on Instagram that people are changing their profiles to the navy blue. Instead of seeing a profile picture, you'll see like a giant blue dot. So that's going to bring awareness to what's happening. Some people, they'll just change it. They won't ask. They won't say anything. And then you ask them, so what does that mean? Oh, it's about Sudan. So you can actually do the same. You can even create a social media post to bring awareness in your sphere of influence and encourage your people to take action. So you can use the hashtags Sudan, hashtag Blue for Sudan, hashtag Sudanese Revolution, hashtag Pray for Sudan, and so many more. Another thing that you can do is give to organizations that have boots on the ground already over there in Sudan and are making a difference. So if you follow us on social media, we're going to provide a list of organizations that are accredited, they're A+, and they are doing things to get direct aid over to the Sudanese people. The third thing that you can do is call or write to your congressperson and urge them to keep pressure on Sudan. See, I understand that reaching out to your local government official might seem to go above and beyond, but at this point, that's where we're at. We're at above and beyond. We're at last-ditch efforts. And if calling your representative sounds intimidating, don't fear. We're at Behind the Law are going to provide a link on our social media page where you can find out who your representative is and how to get in touch with them. So we're going to provide that all right there. So in summation, listeners, you can make a difference. And if you have a platform, just please use it. If you have a voice, just raise it, because the civilians of Sudan need to know that people are standing with them. They need to know that people are raising their voices for them. And we can join their protests in a peaceful way on their journey towards democracy.
Damn, girl, you get it today. I like this passion. Who is this?
Very good.
Who is this beautiful Brianna? I like it a lot. Dallas Lehman, let me ask you a question to piggyback on that. And I didn't hear Brianna saying that as the United States government, we shouldn't be sending military in there. Or I didn't hear you say that, right?
No.
And do you think that we should?
Probably not, because what's going to end up happening is almost the same thing that happened in Germany is that you're so busy looking at the battle, that's when genocide happens.
Yeah. And I don't agree that we should send military there. I mean, Dallas, what do you think? I mean, we already have our military in all these other countries and, kind of fighting their battles. We're not necessarily the global police force, are we?
I agree, but I think what Brianna did today is a great way to shine the light and get some information out there to everybody to really support it any way they can. Human rights in foreign governments often can reach volatile situations very quickly. And I think you did a great job of making people aware of that, and I think we should all participate in that any way we can.
Yeah, average rent, speaking of shine the light, I'm going to shine the light on the fact that the rental market in this town is out of control. If you're still renting, did you know the average one-bedroom apartment's going to cost you almost $1,500 a month? How much of a house can you buy with a payment of $1,500 a month? We'll answer that question with Dallas Lehman of You Have Mortgage right on the other side of this very short break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando.
Wow, that's quite a bit of information. Nicely done, Brianna.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
It's sure to get to come in handy this week.
Sure.
What?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the show. Justin Clark here with you, joined by Dallas Lehman. He is with You Have Mortgage. Hello, Dallas. How are you, sir?
Great to see you, Justin. Thank you.
The rental market here is great. It's great if you're a landlord, if you're a family looking to get a roof over your head. The rental market here is out of control. It really is. The average rent for a one-bedroom is $1,450, something like that. We all lived, Dallas, through 2006 when it took a pulse and a pen to get a mortgage. You make $10 an hour and you could certainly get $1 million house, it seemed like, in 2006. Then 2008, 9, 10, 11, it essentially took an act of Congress to get a mortgage, and I think a lot of people out there have stayed in the rental market because they've been afraid to even try to get a mortgage. Where are we at now? Compare now as opposed to 2006 and 2010.
Well, those are excellent points, and I've got to tell you, I agree 100%. If you're a landlord, you're doing very well right now on rents. There is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be in a position to buy. The economy right now is robust, and so are the low interest rates. That combination is the perfect storm for home ownership. The most important thing you also want to consider is equity. Your asset as a home is your equity base. You can always use that as a position of strength moving forward for the rest of your life. The rates are low. The economy's, like I said, is just phenomenal right now. I would urge anybody, to immediately start looking to buy. The reason I say that is, how long will this last? I personally believe the economy is going to be strong throughout the rest of this year. Listening to all the indicators and the information that I receive on a daily basis, I also feel the Fed is going to keep interest rates low. They've already said that, I believe, last week, and I think they're going to do their best to keep those rates as low as possible. Now, we don't want to sit back in a comfortable position and say, well, I can wait. Like all things, sometimes waiting is not the answer. You also want to stay ahead of the situation and start looking to buy now. Even if you don't want to buy right now, let's have a conversation. And let's see, let's get you pre-approved. Let's get you into your comfort zone of what you can own. And that's probably the best thing to do at this point in time.
Yeah, we hear about all these different types of mortgages. We have conventional, we hear FHA, we hear VA, USDA. Can you help us really understand the different types of mortgage options that we have?
Absolutely, and that's the nice thing about the loan programs out there today. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Many people will, actually be good to have the conforming rate, and how many people actually qualify for that rate? Conforming means you hit the standards of all the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines. Do you have a 750 middle credit score? Do you have all the PITI in reserve sitting there at closing time? Do you have the 20% down payment? That's the standard everybody likes to look at, and that's also the one that is mostly advertised that people seem to talk about. Now, Justin, you bring up two very great programs that are out there, just two that I like to always help borrowers with, and that is FHA and that is VA. There's no reason why, again, with the rates being so low, that FHA is an option for you. And if you proudly serve the military, we would love to check to see how your VA benefits will help you move into that home. Those are the standard programs out there. We do have other programs out there for those people that may just miss the non-conforming guidelines, and we want to help those people too, as well as first-time home buyers.
Yeah. Justin Clark here, talking to Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgage. Brianna joins us again. She stepped away from the studio for a moment because we're locked in. How does that happen? I mean, if you guys heard any rustling behind you or on the air here, it's because we have a door to the studio that locks from, well, this side. And it is clearly unlocked, but we clearly can't get out.
We can't get out.
How does that
Happy
even
Friday.
happen?
Happy Friday.
Wow.
There's a very large man on the other side of the door, and he can't even break the door down.
Unbelievable. I mean, only in my studio can you actually lock yourself in, right?
So-
That's hard to do.
Sounds like we're having lunch in.
Yeah,
trying
I
to
guess
break
so.
the door down.
Oh, my God. Okay, so let me ask you this question, Dallas. A lot of people have maybe a Wells Fargo account or a Bank of America account or something like that. So Big Man did just actually break there the door. We're live on the air, ladies and gentlemen. We just opened the door somehow. I mean, he just pushed it open, huh? Did you guys hear that? Let me know. Follow at Behind the Law Radio if you heard that. Unbelievable. All right, so let's say I have a Wells Fargo account, Bank of America account. I say, you know what? I'm going to go buy a house. I'm already with Bank of America. They have great advertising for mortgages, too. Why don't I just go to Bank of America? I mean, do you really recommend that, or should I really shop it around?
Well, the first thing I would say is, again, I like to help people with all of their options. Obviously, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and that's the B word. That's the bank word. So those parameters are set by the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines that I spoke about just a minute ago. And if you fall within those guidelines, then they are going to love you. But what I would tell you is I don't think they're going to do as much of a favor for you in return. And why do I say that? If you have your checking account with either one of those banks, the B word, if you have a checking, a savings, a money market, any investment opportunity through those banks, I would challenge you to see what the rate of return is. I would also say, why are you getting monthly fees? If you look at the rate of return, for example, on a savings account or a money market account, and you're getting 0.002% return on your savings account, what makes you think that they're going to do the best job for you when it comes to getting your interest rate? So yeah, the banks are really they're good for being a conduit to pay bills, but when it comes to the real estate market and getting you the best rate, I would challenge them because they don't offer all the programs outside of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Most of them don't.
Justin Clark here, talking to Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgage. Give us a call if you have any questions, 321-282-1055. Or if you're looking to get pre-qualified for a mortgage, Dallas, how do I reach out directly to you?
You can reach me at 407-383-8913 7 days a week.
So when I call them the big box lenders, you know, the big Wells Fargo or the Bank of America, the places that you already bank, they're kind of a big box lender. And think about it like this. Have you ever had one of those kids' toys and it has the square and the triangle and the rectangle and you've got to put all of them in the little holes, right? Well, if there's any little dirt on it at all and you can't get the square through the square hole, they're going to kick you out. Maybe even after you've been working with them for a while, whereas if you work with someone like Dallas, if you got to shave a little bit off of the square or shave a little bit off of the hole to actually make it fit, you're going to take the time to work with someone to actually fit that square peg in that hole.
Absolutely correct.
And I don't think the big box lenders are going to do that. So, Dallas, let me get right to it here. What do I need to qualify now? Because I've heard rumors I need 700. You know, I couldn't have had a bankruptcy in the last 30 years. I mean, what kind of qualifications are banks really looking for to get qualified for a mortgage?
Again, and that's a client-specific answer, but it's a very good question. And I think what I want to talk about there for a second is because you touched on a very good point, is a lot of people are under the misconception that, for example, if they have a bankruptcy or if they have a foreclosure, what the B word, the banks will do is they adhere to guidelines, again, specific to whatever program that you're looking at. but they adhere to guidelines where there's a 4-year waiting period or a discharge period. There's a 7-year waiting period on a foreclosure from the time of discharge or when it was sold. So again, what I want to say there is, please don't hesitate to think to call. Why do I say that? We have programs for clients 1 day out of bankruptcy, 1 day out of foreclosure.
Wow.
So those are very, very helpful. The banks just aren't going to do that for you. So again, it only makes sense. It only makes sense if you have that and you're thinking, well, my goodness, I can't do it just now. Take a look at it. Let's review it together. Let's get you pre-approved, because let's look at the rates. Even if the rates are a little higher for a program for 1 day out of bankruptcy, 1 day out of foreclosure, they are still based on the low rates of the day that are out there.
Yeah.
So they are going to be lower than they were years ago. So I would not preclude or think yourself unavailable for a loan at this time with those options.
You read articles all the time about how the rates have hit a 2-year low, mortgage rates are down again, but you already have a pretty good rate on your house, but you're really thinking, you know what? I think my rate is actually a little bit higher right now than these rates that I'm reading about. When do you know it's time and it's going to be financially worth it for you to refinance the house you already have? That answer and Stump the Clarkie right on the other side of this very quick break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. What the hell happened over there?
Yeah.
What, it just wouldn't open?
It just wouldn't open. Like on either side. It was unlocked. I mean, and it wouldn't open on either. It was weird.
It's great to have an emergency door service here in the office.
Yeah.
Super funny because like this guy can like break a door down and build you a new one at the same time.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Exactly.
Jeez.
That's hilarious.
He was like, stand back. I was like, what's wrong with the radio?
Yeah.
No, don't
Clear.
break the door down.
Clear. Here we go.
Don't do it.
All right. Ready?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the show. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here with you as we are every weeknight, 8 o'clock p.m., Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., all right here on our favorite sports radio station, ESPN 580 Orlando. 2 TV shows this weekend and every weekend for your viewing pleasure. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Over on CBS, it is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then Sunday mornings, it is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television at 10 a.m. on TV 27. Also, if you want to interact with us, ask us any questions, you can follow us at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can harass me right there if you want. To my right, blue microphone, red headband. What is it again?
It's a head wrap.
Red head wrap. It is the beautiful Brianna. Hello, Brianna.
Hello, Justin.
How's it going? Any big plans for the weekend? Week, whatever.
We are going to the Crystal Lagoon out in Wesley Chapel.
Do they have alligators there?
No, it's a man-made 7.5 acre lagoon. The water's crystal clear. The sand is white. It looks like you're in the Caribbean without the
that's great.
minibar deaths.
Where is this?
This is in Wesley Chapel. It's normally
That's like Tampa.
yeah, it's about
Okay.
yeah. It's normally reserved for the residents of Wesley Chapel, but they're opening it up to the public for the month of June.
No
we're
gators.
going. No gators.
Snakes?
I mean, I feel like it's Florida, so I feel like
Manatees.
No, there's no wildlife in the water.
So it's like a pool.
Except it's a beach, but yes, it's a lagoon.
Do they have chlorine in it?
I don't know how they make their water, Justin. What is?
I don't know. Is it like a big pool or is it like an ocean? Or is it like a lake? I don't understand.
It looks like a ocean, but it has the qualities of a lake because it ends.
Joined today by Dallas Lehman. He is the owner of You Have Mortgage. Hello, Dallas. How are you?
Justin, great to be here.
Let's say I want to get pre-qualified for a mortgage right now. What is the best way to reach out to you for instant review to qualify me so I can start my house hunt today?
Absolutely. Don't wait. Please call me directly at 383-8913.
Gotcha. All right, Dallas. We're gonna play a little quick game here. Yeah, are we playing something, Clarky?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna
All
play a
right.
little game. Have we ever played against each other? You've been on
No,
the show
we
before.
haven't,
Oh,
no,
this will be our first ever
I've been on the show. We haven't
time
played. This will be
playing
great.
Stump the Clarky. So Brianna's gonna ask us 4 questions. We're gonna write all 4 answers down, and then we'll come back and see who wins today's edition of Stump the Clarky.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clarky. Come on, Clarky. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarky. Get over here.
All right, Brianna, what is said category today?
Today is all about mortgages.
Hey, what do you know, Dallas?
Isn't that convenient?
You're
It better be.
Little
definitely get a big advantage for you.
Outstanding.
Something like that.
All right, let's play this game.
Question number 1. As of 2018, what is the total amount of mortgage debt?
Mortgage debt. Ooh,
In the
For two-
country.
Yes.
that question. Wow,
Yes.
that's a good one.
In the United States. As of 2018, what is the total amount of mortgage debt?
It's probably a pretty big number, I'm thinking.
I assume so.
Okay.
Question number 2. What is the median credit score for a new mortgage? What is the median credit score for a new mortgage?
I mean, Dallas, I'm hearing FHA doing like 580 now. I know you don't like talking credit scores on things, but that is possible, right?
You're absolutely right. Yes, it does go down to 580, and so
So look, if you're renting, guys, seriously, I mean, check your credit. Don't be afraid. It's really a great time to buy. All right, sorry to interrupt the game, Brianna.
That's okay.
All right, go ahead. Question number 3.
Question 3. What is the average down payment required?
Is this a percentage or is this a number?
This is a number.
I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go percentage.
Nope. We need a number because the answer's a number.
You're going to be wrong if you do.
Yeah.
I'll just put $1. So
go
let me
ahead.
know if you're going to stick with the percentage.
Average down payment.
Come on down.
It's just it's a lot of variables there. And you say average.
It's average.
Let's just say.
I'm going to go a little
Includes all
lower.
the variables. All right, question number 4. You guys are mulling over this too much. Question number 4. What percentage of homeowners have a mortgage? What percentage of homeowners actually have a mortgage?
A lot.
Well, it's quite a few of them. It's out here buying homes in cash.
If we could only be so lucky.
Okay.
I'll take that one.
Good questions.
Eh.
Very good questions.
You're listening to Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here with you. I have the beautiful Brianna to my right on the blue microphone. And across from her, it's Dallas Lehman. He is the president of You Have Mortgage on the red microphone. We're playing Stump the Clarky. All right, 4 questions. Let's do this. Let's see who wins.
Excuse me. Question number 1. As of 2018, what is the total amount of mortgage debt?
Let's go with our guest, Dallas Lehman. Dallas, what did
I'm
you say?
shooting high on the big picture. I'm going to say 1.2 billion total.
That's a little
Total mortgage debt.
Okay.
I'm going to say $3 trillion.
Oh.
What is the right answer?
It is 10.3 trillion.
Yeah, I thought so.
Wow.
I
That's
thought it
up
was
there.
3, but all right, I'll take that one. 1-0 JC going into question number 2. Brianna, what do you have?
What is the median credit score for a new mortgage?
See, I might have gone a little high here because, look, the lending has certainly eased up, but I still think the average is probably somewhere around 670. Dallas, what do you have?
We're close, Justin. I said 675.
Okay, 675. I think you probably win. I think it's going to be higher than what we both said. Brianna.
Yeah, the median credit score for a new mortgage is actually 758.
What?
I know.
Please.
758.
There we go with the big banks.
Yeah, Dallas Lehman on the board 1-1 going into question 3. All
Question
right.
number 3. What is the average down payment?
Back to you, Dallas Lehman. What do you have?
I'm going to say, and this is an average, obviously, I'm going to say $15,000.
I went just a little bit higher with $18,000. Brianna, what was the right answer?
It's $28,000.
That's what I actually said first, and I lowered it. But anyway, I'll still take that. 2-1, Dallas. You need this one here. If you hit this one right on the nose, you could actually beat me.
Come back, Dallas. Come
So
on.
you get extra credit if you hit it exactly right. But all right, 2-1. Justin Clark ahead of Dallas Lehman. Going into question 4, the ultimate question of the day. Go ahead.
what percentage of homeowners have a mortgage?
All right. So, a lot of older people have their house paid off, I think, but I'm going to go 79%. I think 79% of us have a mortgage on our homes. Dallas, what do you say?
I'm going to say 90%.
90%. Brianna, what is the right answer?
63%.
63, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So a lot of people have paid off their houses
Yeah,
out
that's
there. I did
interesting.
not know. I mean, if you do have a paid-off house and you want to get a new roof, I think we can refinance that, can't you,
You
Dallas?
better believe we can.
It-
Absolutely.
Is there? Thank you for playing, by the way. Good job.
That was
Okay, folks, thank
Good
you so
information.
much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
What kind of differences, Dallas Lehman, are there between a purchase and a refi when it comes to rates and down payments and things like that?
Well, it just depends on the loan to value. When you do a refi, and now is a great time to refi for many people. We want to look at things like, what is your current rate? Where are you with that? What's the debt on your home? And we were just talking about credit a minute ago. Credit will play an important role on that in the matrix when you look to refi. Obviously, it's important on both sides of the equation when you're purchasing and when you're refining. But you've been a homeowner now for a certain amount of years, so the credit score will obviously be a little bit more important on the side of the refi.
When do you think it is time to refi? I mean, how much does the interest rates need to go down to make it financially viable or worth it for me? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I just had somebody come in the office yesterday, and I told them, hey, you know what? There is so much appreciation right now, once again, because of the economy. You put down 20% when we did the loan for you. You may be in a position to refi if you wanted to lower your rate. So I had told that person initially, I said, come back, let's review this in 6 months. Let's see where you stand. Let's have a plan of action. Let's see where you stand 6 months later and see how much appreciation has happened for you and see what the rate looks like. So that's where, we're going to talk about that. But really, it's a matter of time. How long have you owned your home? What was your initial rate? Maybe because when you bought that home, you didn't put as much money down as you might have wanted to. Now, because of the appreciation, you've owned your home, let's say 3 years. Now's a good time maybe to look at refinancing that into a lower rate for your long-term investment.
You're trying to buy a house, but you don't have a whole lot of cash just sitting in the bank. What is the lowest amount of a down payment that I can put down to actually purchase my own home? That question, right on the other side of this break, Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando.
Excellent questions.
All right. You ready?
Always ready. Absolutely.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
One final segment ahead of Behind the Law. My name is attorney Justin Clark. Thanks for spending your nights with me on our favorite sports radio station. Joined today by Dallas Lehman. He is the founder, president, owner of You Have Mortgage, a mortgage company located here in Central Florida. If you're looking to buy a new home, or if you're looking to refinance your existing home and your existing mortgage, I want you to reach out to Dallas today. Dallas, how do I reach out?
Please call me directly at 407-383-8913.
I don't have a ton of cash in the bank, but I'm tired of renting. I'm tired of paying someone else's mortgage. What is the minimum down payment through some of these programs we hear about? VA, FHA, Fannie, Freddie. I mean, what's sort of the minimum down payment I'm looking at to actually buy my dream home?
Two of the programs we talked about earlier that are really the best are FHA, requires only a 3.5% down payment. And then I would say the next one after that would be if you're a first-time home buyer, you can put down 3%. It's funny, too, because oftentimes with a first-time home buyer, you may have been a homeowner in the past, but there are circumstances where you might be considered a new home buyer again. One more thing I think it's important to note there is, being in the situation that I am with the company, you can help, or I can help, we can help. The realtor and I, it's a team effort, obviously, but we can help that buyer to maximize their cash. And by saying that, I mean, if we're able to get, if we work with the realtor and she or he is able to get 3% seller contribution toward their buyer's closing costs, that helps them immensely with less cash to close. So now we're talking about maximizing their cash. The other thing, too, is in instances, there are times, being the owner of the company, of my company, sometimes we're able to offer a lender credit to help them out through some of our lenders that participate in that. So, the main question, Justin, is an outstanding one. 3.5% down, or 3% down for a new first-time home buyer. But I will look at every opportunity to save our buyers as much money as we can and get them those contributions to help them in the entire transaction.
Justin Clark here, talking to Dallas Lehman of You Have Mortgage. He's a mortgage broker here in town. Lawyers, car salesmen, mortgage brokers. I think there's some distrust in professions like that. I mean, I'm a lawyer, you know that, and I understand some people hate lawyers. I get it, no problem. Car salesman, same thing. But I think especially with what all happened back in 2006, our trust level as a society with mortgage brokers might not be at an all-time high. Don't take offense to that. I threw the lawyer thing out there first too.
Sure.
And it is. So what are some things that I need to be looking for? Because, there's a lot of trust that goes into that. This is a big purchase for human beings when they're buying a house. And the mortgage broker is a huge, huge part of that purchase. What are some things I really need to be looking at with my mortgage broker to make sure I'm not getting taken advantage of?
Absolutely correct. And by the way, we're talking about, when we're talking about our borrowers, we are working with them together with some of their most private, trusted information. For example, I pull the credit of that person. I'm looking at their tax returns. I'm looking at everything about them. So there is a good relationship of trust in that relationship. I also work with 3 processors. Once I have decided certain parts of the loan, I hand it off to them, and we do it. But I would say this: when you're looking for those qualities, in a lawyer, in a mortgage broker, a little bit about myself. What I would say is, I'm a graduate from the University of Miami, a college graduate. I'm also a licensed real estate agent. I want to be able to help the person on both sides of the transaction. Where do you do your business? I would feel very uncomfortable if somebody was working out of their home or apartment as a part-time or even a full-time mortgage broker. What standard do they hold themselves to? Who is walking in and out of that apartment, that home, with your most private and trusted, information? So I feel I hold myself to a standard of going above and beyond for the company and for my client. There has to be that position of trust. I've also been doing loans since 2001. I feel very comfortable and helpful and have a loyal following of people that I work with, and happy to say they do refer me as well. So it's a comfort level. Whether you're looking for an attorney or, for a mortgage broker, I would look for those things. We go the extra mile. We really do in our office. We make sure we have a dedicated server. Identity theft is terrible. One of the worst things I see when people come into my office every once in a while is when they've been hacked or they've had their identity stolen, and they have to go through that laborious process of trying to do it. So we have a dedicated server for our origination software. We have everything protected in a law office legal setting in an office. So when you walk in, you should immediately feel comfortable, you should feel protected, and you should know everything that I do and we do together is confidential and only done for your best interest and the best rate and program we can get for you.
Justin Clark here, talking to Dallas Lehman of You Have Mortgage. What are these points I always keep hearing about? Like, I had to pay 2 points to get this rate. What are points?
That's a great question as well. It's a nice opportunity for the borrower. Let's just say we've worked together, we've looked at lenders, we've established a great rate. And the borrower says, is there a way we could get that rate down just a little further? Can I get it lower? One opportunity that's always available to them are what's called discount points, what you talked about, Justin, or a fraction of those discount points. So for anybody that has never heard or seen, let's educate discount points. The bottom line is what we can do for you together with you with the lender is, for example, if you have a $100,000 loan amount, you can, under the fractions, do a discount point or a buy down of your rate. The lender may say, okay, for 1 discount point, we can lower your interest rate by 0.5 point. So you're at 5.5, just making these figures, at 5.5, you pay a discount point, we're going to take you down to 5. Then you can continue to look at that. Maybe they can't afford it, that percentage of the loan amount. Then you go to parts of it. For example, you can pay half of a discount point or a quarter of a discount point to bring that rate down based on the loan amount. So it's a good option.
I mean, so oftentimes it is good to pay these discount points, you think, huh?
It's a case-by-case, a person-by-person basis, but here's the way I look at it. Rates right now, if you've got all the strengths we've been talking about today, rates are incredibly low. But it also gives you the freedom and the option to lock that down for 30 years, even lower if you want to. Yeah. For example, let's just say you're at 4.5%. You've got a purchase. We've got you at 4.5% today on a conventional loan, and you say, you know what? I love this home. We're young. We're going to stay here forever. We're going to raise our family. I want to lock that down even lower. And you know something? I don't mind paying one discount point. I don't mind paying half a discount point because I want to lock this up. So it really depends on, the borrower and what their plans are. But, hey, it is a great option.
Justin Clark here talking to Dallas Lehman, the owner of You Have Mortgage. Phone number if you want to get pre-qualified today, Dallas.
407-383-8913.
I love insurance. I love having life insurance, knowing if something happens to me, my family's going to be taken care of. I love having insurance on my home because I know if a hurricane comes through, they're going to pay to fix the roof. But there's another kind of insurance that you might be paying for that doesn't protect you in any sort of way. And that's called mortgage insurance, often called PMI. What is PMI, Dallas?
Well, if you don't put down 20%, what they're going to do is you're going to have a small payment included in your PITI where the lender asks you to place this mortgage insurance, which you will pay for in the event that you go into default as the borrower. So the lender is maximizing their protection against you, the borrowers, just in case something happens. It is a necessary evil, so to speak. The nice thing is it can go away. When you get to 80% loan to value, in case you didn't put 20% down, might take a year, might take 3 years, might take 5 years. You can then go and reach out to your lender or someone like me and look to see what your value is in your home. Now, at that point, an appraisal is done and we look at it, and then you can ask your lender to remove it. There's also the option when you get to 78% loan to value where the banks or the lender are required to move that PMI. And again, I don't want to speak for banks, but these are the way, the PMI rules operate today. And make no mistake, it sounds very confusing, like you said, Justin, to the borrower thinking, oh, well, this is great. I have mortgage insurance. I miss a payment. I do. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, I have mortgage insurance. I'm okay to skip a payment or two.
No, it's protecting the bank, not you.
Absolutely right.
For sure. Dallas Lehman, thank you, sir, for being here. I know that you will be standing by. If anyone has any questions or wants to get pre-approved for a purchase or a refi, phone number once again.
407-383-8913. Great being here, Justin.
Excellent
Thank you so
job
much.
today, sir. Brianna, nice work. I really liked your monologue at the beginning, too. And
that was great.
If you go back, listen to the show by following out Behind the Law Radio and see what Brianna was talking about earlier. It's a very important issue over in Sudan. Brianna, good job today.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know much, but I do know one little teeny tiny thing.
What's that?
I'll see you right back here tomorrow night on ESPN 580 Orlando.
All right, guys.
All right. Good job.
Nicely done, team. What a great